Hey, how's it going? If you didn't already know, I'm Gabby, and in this video, we are talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, a question that I get asked all the time. How do you afford to travel so much? If you've been following me, you know that I love to travel and I usually take several international trips every year. So I must be rich, right? Actually, no, I am not rich unless you count things like friendship and health. Yes, I am rich in those things, but I actually do some creative things so that I can afford to travel, and you can do them too. I want to share them with you in this video. So if you're interested in travel, if you're interested in seeing the world, in speaking to people from all over the world and learning new things, then keep watching because I want to share how you can afford to travel as well. Now, this assumes a few things, like you already have enough money to cover the basics, like your rent, food, utilities. Things like that have to come first. But after that, you can make travel a priority, and that is essential. If you want to travel, you really do have to make it a priority, especially if it's a stretch to be able to afford a plane ticket or a hotel or things associated with travel. So first of all, let's prioritize travel. Let's create a savings account for your travels, and maybe let's cut back on some of those extra items, that new pair of shoes or the new t-shirt, or maybe going out and drinking on the weekend. Those are maybe some things that we could cut back on if they're not as high of a priority as travel is. Now, I have a question for you. I would love to know, where is the next place that you would like to travel? Tell me in the comments because I would love to know. Next, we tend to think of the total cost of a trip, and it really freaks us out. I know travel can be expensive. Let's say you're looking at a plane ticket that's $1,000 because you're traveling far. Maybe you're gonna travel for a couple weeks, and your hotel cost might be another $1,000. Food and activities might be another $1,000, and all of a sudden, this 2-week trip costs $3,000, and that's a lot of money that you don't have right now. But think about if you saved for a year, if you just saved $3,000 in a year, that would be $8.22 a day. That's about the cost of bringing your lunch to work every day. Now, these are general rough estimates, but I think you can see what I'm trying to say. Instead of trying to come up with $3,000 like that out of nowhere, try to break it down into smaller goals, and it may not even take you a whole year to save the amount that you need, especially if you use some other strategies to keep your travel costs low. Now, my third strategy for affording to travel anywhere is I don't take luxurious trips. I try to find the luxury in the little things. For example, when I travel to Brazil, I find luxury, pure luxury, in having a good cup of açaí, which is a Brazilian fruit that they make a kind of smoothie out of. And that could cost maybe $5 or less, much less depending on where I get it, or a good mango, a good piece of fruit. That is luxury. Sitting on the beach is a luxury that costs absolutely nothing. Of course, it costs money to get there, but as you see, once you're there, in your destination where you want to be, you can do so many things that feel luxurious but don't actually cost money. So again, try to find luxury in the little things. It could even be a conversation with someone. It could be having something that's low cost, like a cup of tea and a nice conversation. Another tip is to always be on the lookout for deals or specials or even alternative means of travel. I talked about plane tickets, but maybe you could get on a boat. Maybe you could take a road trip, or maybe there's other ways to travel that would be cheaper, or maybe there's some special deal that you could watch out for. Finally, in my opinion, one of the best ways to travel is to actually travel as a worker or as a volunteer or in a way where you might actually be getting paid to travel. Let me explain. My very first trip abroad was actually to Cuba many years ago. I was a student in college and I got a scholarship to take classes that took me to Cuba. Not only that, but I got a grant to actually pay for my travel to go to Cuba. So I was able to go for a very low cost. My second trip was studying abroad in the Dominican Republic, and I also had a scholarship to study there. And you know, instead of paying for a really expensive study abroad package program that a lot of students do, kind of a commercial program, I talked to people and I made some phone calls and I figured out how to directly enroll in the university in the Dominican Republic. And I lived with a local family. And in that way, my costs were very, very low. In fact, I was spending less money living in the Dominican Republic than I would have been if I was studying at my home university in the United States. Then I went to Brazil a few years after that, and I saved money by working for several months to save, my airfare and some other miscellaneous costs. But then I saved money by staying with a family again. I did a homestay program that was actually free because it was like an exchange program. Finally, one of the best experiences I've had traveling abroad was when I got a work contract to teach English in Japan. And I had all my expenses paid for, and I actually got paid to teach English for a year in Japan. And that was my first real paid job teaching English, and well, you know what happened after that. I totally loved the experience, and I've been teaching English ever since and traveling ever since. So look for those opportunities that may not be commercialized or advertised as much. There's a lot of opportunities for you to volunteer, to lower your cost of travel, to stay with locals, maybe to study or even to work abroad so that you can see more of the world without having to stress about money or put it off until someday when you're rich. So I hope that you get to travel where you want to. Again, tell me in the comments where you'd like to travel. Tell me if you enjoyed this kind of video and these tips, and I will look for your comments. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.